been 1938 they've been making clone people. There's 8 countries making clones. If I start talking about cloning too much, the people that get involved into that you disappear on it. So I don't go into too many more details. If you go to the hospital today and get an encephalogram, what's that? That's the memory of your conscious mind. It's on the CD. Let's download it on this being. Now we got a walking, talking duplicate.
Okay, it's like Blade Runner, the android.
Exactly. Sometimes you have glitches in it, so you have to have them tuned up occasionally or redone. And so we take them to Camp David, or there's a wing at Bethesda Hospital, to just tell you. If you go down there and check, you'll find the nurses, if they're willing to come forth, they'll tell you they work on those people, and they call them the others. I thought it was interesting. They're people. Remember, these people can think and act, but they don't have soul. That's also prophesized. Soulless beings.
That's true.
We basically show up in 2 different arenas. We have the medical device arena that utilizes the product for validation and origination. This type of validation was previously done often with animal tissues. They would take, porcine tissue and do a test mechanically for the nature of the way that the device interacts with it. We have products from laminated tissues like skin, skin, fat, muscle, fascia planes, muscular bodies, and luminal structures like vessels. The other part of the business is actually the simulation side, the patient placement side, where you would want to know how to position the body itself, what to do, where it needs to go, how to access it, which is just like the initial thing early stage students in medical programs, neurosurgery, things where you have complex neurovascular structures you would be trying to approach surgically with microsurgical tools or a microsurgical robot. The product itself is actually a full-fledged simulator for just about everything you would want to do medically, where you actually take a patient CT or MRI and then you can take it and turn it into a solid model, and from it then build a soft tissue analog that can be accessed multiple times. This is our Syndaver synthetic human. This one in particular is named Steve.
So weird that this company names all of their cadavers different names. But as you can see, we have the technology to create a human synthetically, inside and out, or biologically, which really is kind of scary, because if it ends up in the wrong hands, certain things can happen that wouldn't lead to good endings for us. But with this type of technology, it makes me think again, like, are we all still human? I mean, all this body needs is a head and a brain on it, in which they figured out the brain too. But listen to the man that coined the term robotoid.
Research has been underway for many years in biological synthesis, that is, artificial life form.
So during the late 70s, Dr. Peter Baylor recorded a couple tapes regarding how synthoid humanoids were being made, and they were actually being replaced with the human population, and even like politicians and things like that. But just take a listen.
And acts exactly like a human being, and yet it is not human. A robotoid is alive in the biological sense, but it is an artificial life form. Robotoids respond to conventional routine medical tests in the same way as humans do. They eat, they drink, they breathe, they bleed if cut, and they can be killed. Robotoids can also think, but they think only in the sense that a computer thinks. Like any other computer, the brain of a robotoid has to be programmed for each assignment it is given. Organic robotoids are remarkable creatures, but they have many drawbacks. They don't grow or reproduce, but must be manufactured one by one in the desired form. They also have a very limited lifespan, measured in months or even weeks, depending upon how they are utilized. This is due to the fact that their metabolism, while it resembles that of humans, is very inefficient. A robotoid can be manufactured on very short notice, a matter of hours. But after a few weeks or months, it suddenly begins to degenerate physically and mentally. When that takes place, the robotoid has to be removed from service and disposed of. To extend its useful life as much as possible, a robotoid is customarily cooled down to slow its metabolism between assignments. Organic robotoids are extremely expensive, troublesome creatures to produce and utilize.
Off track here, but I just wanted to point out how Jesse's girlfriend from Full House seems to be interviewing Hillary Clinton years later, not looking too much older than she did when we last saw her. Right back here by the door frame. Looks just like Jesse's girlfriend.
And robotoid capabilities do not exceed those of human beings. All they can really do is simulate human beings. But, my friends, for intelligence purposes, that's all they have to do. To produce an organic robotoid, it is necessary to have a pattern to go by. The pattern required is that of genetic coding, taken from a few cells from the body of a human being. Technique sounds like cloning, but the technique itself is totally unrelated to genuine cloning. A robotoid is produced within a matter of hours, and it simulates the human donor at his current age. Like any man-made copy of anything, a robotoid is never a perfect copy of the human that is to be simulated. There's always small discrepancies in appearance and behavior, but these are seldom great enough to arouse any suspicion.
So what is your name?
My name is Sally. What's your name?
How old are you? My name is Dion.
Closer to humans than ever before.
Oh, wow. How old are you?
377 days.
Just 377 days before. So what is your name?
My name is Sally. What's your name?
How old are you? My name is Dion.
Closer to humans than ever
Oh,
before.
wow. How old are you?
377 days.
Just 377 days before.
So down off the stage.
Despite that awful cost.
As the Minnesota governor delivered his state address. After speaking for nearly 45 minutes, Governor Mark Dayton's words started to slur.
But despite that awful cost.
Seconds later, the governor collapses at the podium.
Basically, before collapsing, he does a face plant straight in the middle.
Any policy differences, national security lawyers in this administration acted professionally and in good faith, and the country is safer as a result.
Siren is intense, and I would love to go against her and do what I need to do to...
Sometimes some of these people sound like robots breaking down.
I'm chatting too. We'll try to answer your questions.
And do what I need to do to go around the women and do what I need to do. So.
You okay? You sure?
What do you reckon is going through Rocket's mind?
Look, hopefully he can get through that, and he'll get through it, and he'll get through it today.
So as you'll see, it looks like something pulled him down. And then they repeat things a lot.
Today we have a collegiate challenge. It's open to any college.
So as you'll see, the reactions from the people that they're with are quite odd, because this man just stands there with his hands in his pocket and doesn't even try to help one little bit. And here the usually noisemaker passes out, and the reactions from his coworkers is quite strange.
I'm not quite sure what Simon's doing there. Is he okay? I think he's not okay. Simon is not okay.
Here, a foreign leader passes out in the middle of a meeting, and he tries to hold on to the podium, but it falls with him. So, in 2015, these pass outs date back for a while. And these people act like they see something right before they pass out, which is even scarier.
Und moderne. Jüngster Beweis ist der Brace.
So as he falls, like you see, they grabs his head right away. I don't know if that's a natural reflex or what's going on exactly there. His bodyguard also looked around kind of too, like something was there.
And we worked against the natural flow to expand our common space.
Her speech slowed as though she was having difficulty reading.
This and the
The next moment she began to fall forwards onto the podium, her head grazing the microphone.
Fighters would like to take the fight to Baghdad. They'll have the 1st Cavalry Division waiting for them and looking forward to their arrival.
Down hecka hard or they'll faint hard. So she falls out of the chair.
Bad news for the Obama administration. We have this new CNN ORC poll, which is quite a turnaround in
Just a second. Should we go to war? I'm Scott Baker.
You all right?
So as you'll notice when these people pass out, like here she goes and she's going to take the podium with her, like they have no self-control and they know they're about to go down and it's just like they have no control. And she refuses water multiple times, at least 3 to 4, until they force her to drink water because she wanted to finish the speech.
Another one.
So seeing all of this, and it's happening with mainly politicians, it's around politicians, people passing out when they're giving speeches, and then in audiences as well, because they play a big part too. So it just makes you wonder, like, is everybody like when they're in a talk show, are all of them people synthetic robotoids? Because we have to start wondering this and have these people all been switched out. Like, is the whole government like synthetic robotoids and we just don't know that yet? You know what I mean? And I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie They Live, but you should watch it. So I just think that all the celebrities and athletes are controlled this way. You know, I don't even know if they're human in some ways, because you know how when they do concerts and when they play their sports, like they're superhuman kind of. And then, I don't know, you just have to wonder. And then, like with these lambs here and this cat, like it just totally loses control. Like, what's going on?